Fellowship First Look Preview. Hey guys, my name is Austin. Welcome to my Searching for Games channel. Alright, so I'm going to try to do another one of these live. So let's look up Fellowship. It's currently in the Steam Next Fest. I'll just read it here. Fellowship is a multiplayer online dungeon adventure set in an exciting fantasy setting with endless scaling dungeon runs. So it's kind of like I've been playing Throne and Liberty. I'm assuming it's just like the trials where they just get harder and harder and harder. But I think you get better loot. Whereas in Throne and Liberty, as you climb the trials, you can level your runes faster, basically. We'll continue on with the first look preview, but the biggest draw for me for this game is that, like if I wanted to run a dungeon with my wife or with my brothers or with somebody that hasn't played a lot of Throne and Liberty, they'd have to like play forever to get to the point where we could do a dungeon together. Whereas this seems like you're right into it, right? I personally really like co-op games. So this has online co-op, family sharing. It is just a demo right now, so there's no reviews, but it's made by Chief Rebel. Have they made any other games? Let's see, Arc Games. So they're under the Arc Games publisher. So there's going to be, looks like just the Arc games are going to be shown. So Remnant 2, which is like a, what do you call it? Dark Souls, either third person shooter or first person shooter. Never heard of this. Hyperlight Breaker. But it looks like they definitely have put out some games. Torchlight 3. Okay, so that's an ARPG. And all the way back to Torchlight. Okay, so Arc Games is the publisher of Torchlight. Interesting. So let's go ahead and look at some of the... Before we go to the About Us, let's see how popular it is. It might not show it because it's just a demo, but we'll see. Fellowship. I'm not sure when this game will be coming out or anything like that, but we'll watch the trailer in a minute. So Fellowship game, I'm guessing it's this one. There's two on here. Okay, it's not that one. It's probably this one. It says under the charts that, oh wow. Oh, these are followers, not players. I was like, dang, that's crazy. 16,000 people. Maybe I can find the demo, but this says there's 900 people watching on Twitch right now. It peaked at 2,300, 24-hour, and then 39K. So I think Asmongold streamed this. Let's just type it in over here. Fellowship. I don't know if he streamed it. He has a YouTube video, so he had to have streamed it. And he says, this game sucks, but it has 530,000 views. I did not watch this. Let's see. IGN says nothing really. Oh, here we can see a little bit. This must be the hub. This looks cozy. The Fellowship situation is crazy. Can Dungeon Lights succeed? So this MODA, I think is what they called it, Multiplayer Online Dungeon Adventure, MODA, is I guess an interesting topic. I've never heard of one before. So I think it's heroes and stuff that you choose and then you play as those. So I don't know how the gear would work. I guess I had a few things that I was thinking about. Let me try to remember them. So is there no cap on gear is something I'm curious about. Does the gear just scale forever? Like maybe you get a piece of gear that has like 8 strength and then when you fight a dungeon that's 10 levels harder or whatever, you get a piece of gear with 10 strength or 20 strength. Or is it like you get your best piece of gear and then you just try to get the highest dungeon you can get with that piece of gear? So gather your perfect team, play alongside your friends with 4-player co-op. Swap between a large pool of tank, healer, and DPS roles with unique kits to build the perfect balance for your team. Endless scaling. Okay, everyone will feel like a brand new challenge. So is this going to be like, what is that game called? Vampire Survivors. These are called roguelikes. Is it going to feel like a roguelike, but with other people? Like, is that kind of the gameplay loop? Is it similar to a roguelike, but you actually don't just, I don't know. I think it might be similar to a roguelike, but multiplayer, which seems kind of neat. There'll be seasonal updates, dungeon modifiers, new features, and rewards that keep each run fresh and exciting. Rewards loot gear after each dungeon run. You can open a chest, and then the tougher the dungeon, the better the rewards. And then complex boss mechanics. So this is what I find fun. Like in Monster Hunter or even in Throne and Liberty, I really enjoy learning the mechanics of the bosses. Sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes I think it'd be more fun if you had actual people to play with. I think this specifically is good for like small groups of people to play with. Unique and complex boss mechanics, enemy skills grow as difficulty increases, and additional modifiers continue to challenge players as they grow and improve. For Throne and Liberty, I don't know if it's because of a low like player count or something. If you want to do like a tier 1 dimensional trial, it has different mechanics than the tier 3 dimensional trial, and then nobody does tier 3. Never. You could literally leave a party board up for, I've seen the same guy trying to find a party for like 3 days, and nobody, it was only him searching. And it was like hours and hours and hours. You could check it any time of the day, and this guy would be sitting there waiting for a party. But then like tier 5 has even harder mechanics, and that's what people kind of farm. But even then, they only let you in if you know the mechanics. It's just a weird system. So I'm curious how this would go. If people will be more willing to teach other people, I don't know. Since this is the main point of this game, whereas the dimensional trials are not the main point of Throne and Liberty. Anyway, I'm rambling. There are no real reviews. This is kind of the reviews. Is it good? What else do people say? First impressions, new mythic scaling dungeon game. Everything you need to know. All the end game rating without the need to grind. I don't know if that's accurate. I think it's more like a dungeon. I don't know if they have large content in mind, but let's go and watch the trailer. So this might be the one that I've seen. I think that.
Hi everyone, I'm Hamish Bode, Community Director for Fellowship. On behalf of the team here at Chief Rebel, we couldn't be more excited to invite you all to our public playtest. But first things first, I'd like to give you an overview of our game and get you up to speed on what you can expect in Fellowship.
Fellowship. I'll just point out some things that I noticed because I have already seen it. It's not my first look at this. So I'll pause and talk a little bit as it goes through. There is this damage done chart thing, which there isn't anything like that in Throne and Liberty. I think that's neat. I would like to know how much damage I'm doing. I think it'll make some competitive issues maybe, but I think it's worth it. I personally just like cooperative stuff. So I wouldn't care if someone did more damage or did less damage type of thing, but I would like to know. And then there's a kill score, a timer, so they're timed events, and then there's the health bars are like these bigger bars. I think I've like watched World of Warcraft before, and they have stuff like this, but I don't think it's in the game in World of Warcraft. You have to get like an add-on and do all that stuff. I don't know how it works. This seems like it's just already set up for you.
Fellowship is a multiplayer online.
This must be your target, this must be you, and then this is your team.
And dungeon adventure.
And then there's a whole bunch of attacks. So 16 attacks. And then if these are attacks, that makes 20. Or 18. Like X, maybe this is an alt. You can't see it. Oh yeah, you can. And then Z, maybe get on a horse.
A motor, taking the best parts of the end game MMO experience and putting them front and center.
Okay, there's a...
If you love cooperative dungeon-focused gameplay, Fellowship is the game for you.
Yeah. I think this is a fun way to
get started in our game. You'll first select your hero from our roster.
So yeah, there's heroes, and it says there's going to be a lot, but right now it's showing 2 of each. And then the thing I'm wondering is if you get gear, already mentioned, how does it affect your character?
Healers, and damage dealers. A tank's primary role is to absorb damage and keep the enemy focused on them.
Okay.
Positioning and threat management are key to optimal tank play.
Honestly, I started off Throne and Liberty as a tank, and then I ended up switching to melee DPS just because I wasn't comfortable like leading the crew. That's what it feels like as a tank to me. I don't know. I think I'd do the same thing here. I think I would be really interested in being the tank, and then I would.
Damage dealers are the ones that bring the pain to the enemy. You want to be doing as much damage as possible to take down the enemies while the tank keeps them busy.
Right.
A healer keeps the team in tip-top shape, focusing on keeping everyone's health bars high and providing buffs to the rest of the group. After selecting a hero you'd like to play...
I'm sure a lot of people that are interested in this have played World of Warcraft or whatever, some similar type game. Throne and Liberty is the closest thing I've played. It's like my first MMO like this, and it's not really like this. I just wonder how it feels learning these mechanics and stuff. It looks, I've always thought it looks interesting, and fun. It's just like has a huge barrier to entry, whereas this takes away the barrier.
You'll find yourself in the Stronghold, a shared hub where you can get ready for your next adventure, manage your stash, upgrade gear, and figure out your rotations on the training dummies.
Okay, so you can practice.
Once you're ready, open up our group finder to find like-minded players that are looking for the same challenge that you are. Once your group is found, you'll start the dungeon and fight your way through packs of enemies, each with unique and challenging abilities of their own that you'll need to keep an eye on.
Okay, so if we go back, it's a tiny bit. There's like this isn't the boss, this big guy.
You and your group will have to work together and take out enough of these
This art style is completely different than Throne and Liberty also.
enemies to up your kill score as you make your way towards the
cartoon art
boss.
style's fine.
Now, these bosses aren't your standard hack and slash fare, and you'll need to pay careful attention to the boss mechanics that Fellowship has to offer. A lot of our encounters will make veterans feel right at home, while others will push the boundaries to give players an entirely new challenge.
Ooh, eaten by a shark.
As players reach higher difficulties, these bosses will become even more challenging as they unlock their own advanced mechanics and abilities.
I think that this is really going to depend. Whoa, this guy's doing all the damage, isn't he? But I think this is really going to depend on the developers on how fun it's going to be, because it's like if the bosses are just annoying or the mechanics aren't fun to learn or things like that, then like the game won't be fun, right? But if they're really interesting and things like are fun to learn, I don't know, might be hard to get a lot of variety, but maybe I'm wrong.
Pay attention and communicate with your group to end up on top. During these dungeons, you'll also need to keep a close eye on your own abilities, their cooldowns, including your ultimate, and find the optimal time to use them.
You have an ult.
Once you take down that final boss and have fulfilled the kill score requirement for the dungeon, you'll be handsomely rewarded with a big shiny chest of loot for your efforts.
Chest.
You'll then return to the Stronghold to revel in your rewards, as well as the new skills, talents, and power that will be added to your toolbox for that hero along the way.
I feel like as long as this game hits its target audience, it'll do pretty good. My wife watched this before I did. I didn't know it was the same video. I was curious, but I asked her to watch it and then tell me what she would rate it and then what she would think that I would rate it, and she gave it a 1 out of 5 or 0 out of 5. She would never play something like this. And then she said it's just like all the games that I'm interested in playing. So I think so far I kind of agree with her. I've never played this specific style. She compared it to like Diablo or something, but I think it's different because it's the group stuff.
But that's just the beginning.
She doesn't see a difference
when you're ready,
there.
It's
I think
time
it's
to dive
targeting
straight back into your
audience.
next dungeon, which may take you around 30 minutes as you work your way through multiple bosses. Or if you're short on time, we also have adventures which have a single boss and will take about 10 to 15 minutes each. Okay. We want to give you options to chase down the loot you need in the time that you have available. With each completed dungeon and adventure, you'll gain the power you need to take on new and increasingly difficult challenges.
So I'm always interested in progression in games. This is something I started to talk about earlier, then I got distracted. Your gear can get stronger, but will you also grind like levels? Will your character get a higher level? Will you unlock new skills? Will your skills get stronger? Will you unlock like a Path of Exile tree? Like what will it be? How do you progress through this game? Is it just your armor and weapon? Or do you get like little gems and trinkets and stuff that go inside your gear? I think all these things could make the game a lot more interesting.
And you'll be rewarded with loot that is far more powerful than what you began with.
Strong.
For those
also, what will the monetization method be? Because this could be like, they could do like a free-to-play thing where you just buy accessory or like skins and stuff, and they wouldn't have any effect on the actual game. Or it could just be like you pay $5 and you have the game, or it could be you get little tokens that you can use to unlock heroes or whatever, or you could just buy the heroes.
You that haven't played a game like this for whatever reason. Maybe you just didn't have the time, or the prospect of doing NPC quests for hundreds of hours didn't appeal to you. We are so excited to invite you into an experience that has been hidden away from you for way too long.
Thanks,
We put a lot of work into making sure that you have the best experience right from the start. We know that for a lot of you, your competitive spirit is why you'll want to play Fellowship. We've included high skill cap heroes in our roster, a group finder system so you can find similarly skilled players.
Probably would avoid that.
We've also got leaderboards to climb.
So this looks easy to mess with.
Gear to collect, and a bunch of ways to gain the prestige that comes with being the best.
Oh, look at that. You can literally just hover on the map
and
see. I like that they're showing a lot of gameplay. I know that that's like probably overdone trope at this point, is to make sure you have gameplay in your trailer, but like they're showing what you actually do in the game. I think this is good. Looks like these are buffs and stuff. I imagine though that this will be a very much people just run the best builds type of game. I've been playing Throne and Liberty completely blind. Like I haven't looked up a single build or anything like that. And like sometimes you don't get in groups and stuff, but it's not like the content's that hard, so you pretty much can do it anyway. This though, if the whole game is about pushing a high score, then I do think everybody's going to be trying to figure out what the best build is, and then just use that.
This is just the beginning of the Fellowship journey, and we can't wait to make this game with and for our community. So make sure you jump into our public playtest available at Steam Next Fest starting February 24th.
Okay, that was a few days ago. It ends March 3rd, the demo. All right, do they have a trailer? This is 5 minutes long. This is the announcement trailer. All right, this is just my first look. I don't want it to be that long. It already is, kind of. Yeah, 20 minutes. What the heck? Let's give it a hype rating. So, my hype, I've been saying level for some reason. My hype level rating, okay, for this game, and this is specifically for the demo of the game, because the actual game is too far away to like even care about having hype for it, right? The hype rating for the demo for me is a C. It is just a demo. They probably don't have a lot yet. I have no idea when the game will come out, but I am interested in it. I want to be optimistic for it. If I was optimistic, I think I'd give it a B. I think it'd be really cool if a game like this was fun to play. I think that running a dungeon or like battling a boss without having to do like all the other stuff is very much an easy way to get someone's foot in the door. Like there's no possible way any of my brothers would ever do a dungeon in a game like this, or in a game, if it wasn't easy like this. Like it just wouldn't happen. Like there's no way. Unless they just magically got a ton of time on their hands. The only dungeon I've ran with my brothers was a Destiny 1, not Destiny 2, a Destiny raid with my little brother. And we got like 60% of the way through it. Like we were living in different places and he was still pretty little. My dad made him stop in the middle of it. And he's just like, what do? You know, he can't even finish it. So we never did a second one. That was our only like dungeon type thing. It was the first Destiny raid. It was right before the final boss. Anyway, that is my first look preview of Fellowship. I've been trying to do these more live so that they're a little bit more personal, but I do know I've missed out on a lot of stuff, like maybe missing the release date, all kinds of stuff that I think about later when I'm watching it back that I wanted to cover. Anyway, I hope this was a little bit more personal. It's definitely a lot more tangents, and maybe I can do better at that as I do more of these. That's it. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys next time.